We are now in our 5th week of quarantine. There is no end to the Rona in sight, and we continue on going absolutely nowhere. I am Kyle Walker, and this is the Hitting the Wall podcast. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad to be back on the airwaves or podcast waves or video waves or whatever waves we're using these days. I know it's been a few weeks since the last episode came out. Thank you to Joe, who joined me on that last episode as we talked about really the only current event that's happening right now, and that is still the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, whatever you want to call it. It's been called everything under the sun. So thank you to him for joining us. I wish that there was more to talk about at this point, but really that's the only thing going on in the world. It is, of course, the headline across the board. So we're just going to do our best to talk about it. I took a few, yuck. I took a few weeks off as this show is, of course, about mental health and having good mental health. And honestly, for the last few weeks, I have not been in a good mental place. I have been struggling mightily with this whole isolation, quarantine situation. I kind of fancy myself as a homebody most of the time, but I do like having the freedom of being able to come and go as I please, to go out and go to my restaurant of choice, to have my food of choice and my beverage of choice. And that choice has been completely taken away from all of us. And then, of course, you add on top of the situation, the stress that we're all feeling in this, the stress of, if I come down with this disease, this pandemic, am I going to survive it? Now, all the numbers that are coming out says, yes, you have a very good chance of survival, but it's still scary. Okay, so we have the stress of, if I get this, am I going to survive? If someone I love gets this, are they going to survive? The stress, of course, of being at home with maybe a house full of kids or a spouse who's half driving you insane. There's stress that comes with that. There's the stress, of course, of the economy, which the economy is just tanking hard. We've never had this many unemployment claims in this amount of time. That's a new thing, never been done. Restaurants are closed, bars are closed, businesses are closed. And the longer that we stay locked down, the less chance those businesses have of opening back up when we get to the other side of this situation. Now, as I sit here right now, I will tell you that I am recording this as of April 21st, 2020. Now, here in my area in Kansas, our stay-at-home order has been extended through May 3rd. Now, where I am in Kansas, of course, as most of you know, because I have a very local audience, Kansas City, who, I'm a suburb of Kansas City, their lockdown has extended out to May 15th. And then now over in the state of Missouri, they have adopted the May 3rd date, as well as when we think this lockdown could be over. So Kansas and Missouri are May 3rd. Kansas City, the metropolitan area, is now at May 15th. I am recording this on April 21st. So it's going to be 6 weeks, 7 weeks, maybe even 8 weeks in some places before businesses are allowed to open up. If you heard what the president said lately, there's going to be different tiers, different steps in the opening process. So it's not just going to be everything opens up and bam, we're all back to normal. That's unfortunately not going to be the case. So things are going to open up in stages. And so you have to wonder, and everyone, of course, is feeling the stress about, can the businesses that I support, or can the business that pay my bills, can they open up, and can I continue to draw a paycheck? So there's these stresses that have come from all over the board in regards to this. And then, of course, just the whole pandemic. None of us have ever lived through anything like this. We were not around during the Spanish influenza situation. So this is something new for all of us. So I have been feeling the stress. I have been feeling just this weight upon me. And, I'm home, and I'm a fortunate person. I have a home that I enjoy. All my creature comforts are here, but yet you don't like being stuck in it. You don't like that you can't go see your friends and you can't go to the places that you want to go. And that's really becoming kind of a drag on most of us. So that is why I've not recorded for a couple weeks, is I just felt like I wasn't in the right frame of mind to do it. I didn't want to get on here and just appear bitchy. I didn't want to just come on here and say, wow, everything's terrible, everything is horrible. This is the no good, very bad pandemic, which it is. But I didn't want to come on here because that's not going to make any of you feel better, right? So that would then be counterproductive to what we like to do on this show, which is maybe try and be a little more uplifting, try and get a positive message across. And even as I'm trying to do this show today, that's going to be difficult to get like some sort of positive message across, but we'll see what happens. So what I wanted to do, since if you look back, we kind of got first word of Corona in January. I remember the pictures going around. It's the front page article about the death of Kobe Bryant. And then in the side column next to it is there's a virus coming out of China that it could be really bad. And so that was like January 27th. So here we are, we're moving towards the end of April. For argument's sake, we're just going to say that we've been through a quarter. I'm going to assume that between when this all happened and when we have a vaccine that works, and again, this is an assumption, it could be about 12 months. So we're going to say that we are through the first quarter of the pandemic. And so I thought, hey, just like a school year, which have all been canceled, let's give out grades. Let's give out grades for the pandemic here in the first quarter. So this is it's just a quarterly grade. So what do I give? Just my opinion. Please feel free to disagree. Feel free to voice your disagreement. Feel free to tell me where I'm wrong. Feel free to tell me where I'm a jackass. Trust me, there are plenty of opportunities and you're going to have plenty of chances in which to do that. So my grade, let's see, for the first quarter, let's start with the government. What is their grade? Well, of course, depending on which side of the aisle you are, will determine the grade that you want to give. But I think overall, in basically everything that I do and think anymore, the overall government, both sides of the aisle, I normally give a fail in everything because I think the government is terrible. I think we've allowed this terrible beast to just lock itself into Washington, D.C., and we, the people, can really do nothing about it at this point because we created this monster. So here's the deal. You can argue that Trump screwed everything up and that we were not pandemic ready. And so you can give him and his administration an F because we weren't pandemic ready. You can go on the other side of that and you can say, you know what, the response has been as good as it possibly can be. I think that they've done everything that they can do. They did send out the stimulus. They are looking at other ways to stimulate small business, which I think as of today, the Senate has approved. So you could also maybe give them a better grade. You know, I don't want to just sit here and say I flunked them for everything. I will give them grace, which is in rare supply these days. I will give them grace that they had really nothing to look at before and say, oh, well, here's how this was handled. Because again, a Spanish influenza from over 100 years ago, it's hard to make that relevant today, where the population today is so much more and the media is so much different. And I use the term different, could say a lot worse about today's media, but times have definitely changed. And so you can see they're doing the best that they can. They had no blueprint for something like this because it certainly hasn't happened in any of our lifetimes. They're making decisions that they think will be the betterment of the country. Okay, and I am willing to give them enough grace to say that most of them, let's say 98% of our elected officials, are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to do what they think is best. Now, do these dimwits still try and manipulate and go down their party lines and not concede anything to the other side? Oh yeah, absolutely. These people are damn fools. Most of them are really trying to stick to their side and their people, and there's just no compromise. It's, we'll let this happen, but then we're going to bash it on the backside. And, oh, this person did this, so let me run over to this media outlet and just rail on them. And I mean, that's both sides, and both sides are an absolute joke. So for the government, I'm going to give them a little grace, but ultimately, I think that they have a lot of room for improvement. How's that? Room for improvement. That sounds like something you would see on a report card. Yeah, room for improvement. So that's what we're going to go with. And I didn't want to harp too long on the government because honestly, I don't care. I find it hilarious that, as of 3 months ago, all of our social media people and even friends on my own page, they were all political science experts. Now they're all, epidemiologists who now are all doctors on these terrible pandemics and, epidemics and all the things that are going to happen to us. Listen, y'all, if you are out there, well, anyway, let me come back to that. I'm going to come back to that because I'm going to spin around to the grade that I have for all of us, for we the people, and that grade is a 100% absolute F. We have flunked as society, as the general public, as America. We have completely fallen on our faces. And where have we fallen on our faces? In every facet of this. Okay. First off, we have the people who just flat refuse to stay home. Okay. I understand. Okay. I understand that our First Amendment right is the freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. And by freedom of assembly, people will want to go out and they want to assemble. They want to get together. I get it. I really do. That is our First Amendment right. I'm not arguing that. It is our right. And no, I don't think the government can say, no, everyone has to stay home. We're going to ticket you if you go out and you're not allowed to leave. That is wrong. For the government to say, I'm going to fine you for leaving or for pulling you off of a bus because you're not wearing a mask or for sending you home. No, that's wrong. And that is absolutely against our First Amendment right. Okay, so I am going to grant us all that. We have the right to assemble, but because you have the right to do something does not mean that you should. You should not assemble in this situation. Okay, no more than 10 people. Maintain your social distancing. Wear the mask if you're going outside. Folks, this is not hard. Okay, these are, in my mind, simple guidelines to keep yourself and other people safe. And the only reason that we want to fight this, the only reason we kick back on these is because we're such arrogant bastards, we feel that the rules shouldn't pertain to us. Okay, we feel like the Karens of the world. Let me talk to your manager. You didn't get your way, and so now you're mad. You don't want to wear a mask, so now you're mad. So now you're going to put yourself and other people in danger because you're mad, because maybe it hurts your pride, because you don't like being told what to do. Tough shit, y'all. Like, seriously, I don't like it either. And while, yes, we absolutely have the right to assemble, that is our right. It's not a good idea right now. And I'm not saying that because the government told us not to. I'm saying that because it's not a good idea. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt someone else. Yeah, if you're under 45 and you're a healthy adult and you get coronavirus, you're fine. You're going to live. You're going to have a real shitty cough and a real bad cold, and it's going to suck. And you may have to go to the hospital, be hospitalized, get a lot of treatment. It's going to be really scary, and your friends are going to be scared, and your family's going to be scared. And you know what? It could be a very bad situation, but the numbers say you're going to live. Super. Okay. So you're carrying coronavirus, and you're fine. And you're going to be fine when you get it, but then you take it to grandma and grandpa. And I know that this example's been beaten to death, but seriously, folks, it's an issue. This thing is uber contagious. Where it is different from the flu is that it's so contagious. You can get someone sick within the first 1 to 3 days. Again, science has reported this, 1 to 3 days of you getting corona. You may not be showing any symptoms, but in those 1 to 3 days, you are contagious as a mofo. And so you're going to go see grandma and you're going to make her sick. You're going to go see your parents and make them sick. You're going to go see someone who is immune deficient, who has had heart issues. Okay, remember, 2 open heart surgeries. I'm on blood thinners. I have heart issues. I am one of those secondary people with the underlying health risk that they talk about. So yeah, I'm under 45 and I'm a generally healthy person. The Rona could end me. That's just for serious. Okay, so look, I want to see you and I love you to death. And I can't wait to shake your hand or give you a hug or just go drink a beer with you. But if you're not being careful and you're not taking the precautions right now, we're not going to get that beer later because I'm going to be dead. Okay, I've got the health issues. Okay, and so do the elderly and so do other people at risk. There's a reason these things are going around retirement homes like wildfire, because they spread so quickly, because they are so contagious, because the elderly just don't have it in them to fight it off anymore. That's the truth. And when you hear of other people, oh my gosh, a 43-year-old mother with 5 kids died from coronavirus. She beat cancer. Yes. Okay. So think of the people, the person you love who has that victory over cancer. And then imagine them going out to something like this because you wanted to be the asshole who wouldn't stay home. That sucks. Like, that is not the way to go. And look, I've mentally fought this. I don't want to be cooped up at home, and I don't want them to tell me I have to be, because I'm a defiant red, white, and blue asshole, and I don't want to be told what to do. But in this case, while you have the right, you need to stay home. Okay? So I understand there's all these protests going on out there, and let's be super serious about that too, okay? Because mainstream media is a joke. I've said that. I'll continue to say that. They're an absolute disaster and a tragedy. So here's what you have. You have pictures of people lining a sidewalk here in Kansas City, Missouri. And this is the protest, let us out, let the home restrictions go, don't keep us locked down. You know what it says? Dozens of people show up for this protest. Let's say it was 24 24 people. Okay. Yeah, that is not a fair assessment of society. 24 people, 36 people, oh my gosh, maybe even 48. 48 people might have showed up to protest letting us out of the house. Look, media, we're not as dumb as you think we are, number one. Don't keep reusing pictures from years ago and try and convince us that people are doing what they shouldn't do. Let me roll around to the grade to the media about this. F minus, F everything. You guys are complete flunks and failures at trying to accurately report the news. Because if it doesn't have your spin on it, you're going to find a way to get it there. And that's mainly now by lying, flat lying to people, or trying to make something sound way worse than it is. Yes, a possible 48 people showed up to protest being locked in their house. Hooray for them. Super duper. Okay? That means the rest of us, hundreds of thousands of millions of people, didn't. We stayed home. So let's not give the publicity to the jackasses who were out there protesting, the 48 of them. Okay? A lot of people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it's all in hopes of course, flattening the curve. You hear the term all the time. We're going to flatten the curve. And the curve is flattening. It is being shown in the numbers that social distancing is working. The lockdown is working, even though we don't like it. Okay, and all of that is working. So what we need to do is continue to do our social distancing. And look, even when things start to open back up, social distancing is going to be a thing for a while. Okay, learn it, live it, love it. Because it's going to be a thing until a vaccine is found. And again, to get through clinical trials, and maybe even if they fast track something, still we're not looking at fall or next year before we have some kind of vaccine. And then that feeds into the anti-vaxxer crowd. And you know what? We ain't even touching that on this show. Not touching that with a pole, 10-foot pole. Not doing it. Anti-vaxxers, y'all got different issues that I'm not even going to go into right now. But bad. So, okay, what do we got? Let's see. Government, I didn't really give them a grade. I'll give them a D minus. Us as a people, complete F. Media, F minus. Somebody asked me, when this was really early on, they asked me if it was possible that kind of we as a society come out the other end of this better. If we come out, maybe better people. And I remember I felt like such a jerk, but my response was not overly optimistic. My response was, well, it's possible. There's a hope. And then now that we're a quarter of the way done, yeah, my shred of hope is gone. We aren't coming out of this better people on the other end. We're going to come out of this trusting no one, because now we're afraid everyone's going to make us sick and kill us. And then we're going to come out of this angry at each other. And more than, being a little standoffish because we're afraid that someone else is going to kill us, it's this anger that we're going to have for each other when we come out the other end. That's going to be, I believe, the biggest problem. Because if you look at it, and again, I draw a lot of this back to politics, because people can't seem to form a thought without it being along their own political lines. There's the people who want us all to just, be let loose, set us all free, reopen everything, And so they are getting kind of lumped in with a political thought. And then there's the people who say, lock it down, don't anyone move, don't even think about moving. And of course, they're getting locked along in a political side, and these two sides are fighting each other. And now you're seeing the protests, you're seeing the nurses in their masks in front of the people who want to be set free, and it's getting politicized greatly. And again, because it's in the mainstream media, you got to wonder how much of it's even true. But look, stay home, flatten the curve as it is. And, you know, I understand that we're going to come out of this really angry with each other. We're going to come out with, well, you said this, or you posted this, or you like this, and it is in complete disagreement with what I think, and you're wrong. And let me tell you, and it stinks because I was starting to think about this, and then I was listening to one of the political podcasts that I enjoy, and he said darn near the same thing. He stole my thunder, and he also gets way more views than I do, so it's his. If in any of your arguments, whether someone pulls this on you or if you think about saying this, let me just stop you right here. If at any point in your argument you use the line or have the line used on you, well, you just want people to die. Stop. Stop right there. Your argument is over and you've lost. Okay, if you've used that line, and honestly, people have used that on me because I believe a certain way and I think things that I think, and someone actually said, well, you just want people to die. Really? Really? You think I put so much value on political conversations that I think that my values and my beliefs trump a human life? Come now. Let us be serious. And if in any political argument that you see, or any argument about the Rona or whatever, if anyone says to you, or if you think of saying to anyone, well, you just want people to die, you're a joke. You're an absolute joke. Your argument is a joke. You are not informed. You are not, I'll say, you're not intelligent. If you think for a moment that anyone out there is valuing their political stance over human life. And I'm sorry, I get it. I'm on the side that gets accused of this a lot. You don't care about people. You don't care about this. You want people to, oh, shut up. Never have I sat here and thought, oh man, I hope that person dies because then I get to be right about my political stance. No, I can count on no fingers how many times that's happened because it's a big old goose egg. Nothing. Zip, zero, zilch. And look, I've seen people who fight from both sides and they fight tooth and nail. And man, they just will not admit if they're wrong. They will never admit if their party is wrong. They will post 11 billion things on Facebook, all in line with their political beliefs. And if you argue with them at all, you are this, that, or the other. We don't need to go through all the names that are thrown out there. And look, I've seen them all, and that's fine. And you can call me whatever you want. You can call them whatever you want. But to say that they value a political belief over a life is flat wrong. It is the lowest form of desperation to try and win an argument. You're not even trying to win an argument. You're going with shock value. You are simply saying that for shock value, hoping that they will be so flabbergasted that they cannot come up with a response to what you have just said. And then you or the other person will try and walk away with this sense of victory. Okay, I will concede victory to you right now if you're so dumb that you think I'm going to care about a stance over a life. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You've won the argument. Go away. Shoo, I have no time for you. So look, that's something I really wanted to get that out there, and it was voiced earlier today on another show, and I'm like, thank you, spot on. At no point in time do we devalue life devalue life in favor of a political argument, okay? So you can choose to believe that or not. That's completely up to you. I'm telling you that is where I stand. I love it when people respond to the show. I love it when people send me messages. I love it when people talk to me. And if you disagree with this stance, we can certainly talk about it. But I would be very interested in hearing your rationale in why you think someone would choose a stance over a life. If you can back that up, then let's have that conversation. But I don't think that you can. So that is where we are as of April 21st on the corona issue. There is good news in the world about it. There is bad news in the world about it. Of course, the death toll climbs. The confirmed cases climb. On the flip side, of course, the hiccups are coming right now. On the flip side, there is numbers that are starting to support that maybe more people have had this than were diagnosed. And if you have a big wealth of people who have had this, and we didn't even know, through the antibody testing, they're finding out, well, then the percentage of fatalities from it drops. Okay, if 100 people have had it and 10 people died, well, then you're at 10% fatality. Okay, well, if 10 people died, but 100,000 people had it, then it's a different story, and that's more positive. That's along the lines of seasonal flu. Now, the death toll from coronavirus is not huge. Okay, in this country, I think it's 4,000. It's over 4,000, but it's under 5,000. Okay, confirmed cases last I saw were about 177,000. So the percentage, I mean, it's a high percentage, and any loss of life is bad, but this is not as lethal, as fatal as we originally thought. But we don't have a vaccine for it, and there's really not like this 100% accurate, no problem, do this treatment if you come up with it. It seems like everything is just kind of trial and error, see what works. There's a drug that I can't say because I'm terrible at saying the names of drugs that has been politicized, and I guess that they've had semi-decent results with, and that's good. That's good. But it's also, from what I've heard, it's also kind of one of your last cases, your last chances. If you end up having to need this stuff, then you are already in really, really bad shape. So we don't have like this perfect treatment for it. We certainly don't have a vaccine for it. The numbers aren't huge, but you have to think that when we are all released and we are set back out into the wild, the numbers will spike. Like they will go back up when we are all back out there together reinfecting each other. Okay, Switzerland did this with the herd immunity. They never closed their economy down. They just said, hey folks, we think that the hospitals can handle it. Keep living your lives. And yeah, they saw a big spike, but their numbers are coming down. People have gotten it, people have gone through it, people have recovered from it, and now they've got the immunity, herd immunity as they call it. And unfortunately, I think we're going to have to do that here. Now, if we want to do it in tiers, great. We want to do it in waves, fine. Even though, again, I am one of the people who is at a higher risk than Joe Schmo walking off the street, okay? But even I think that, yeah, that's probably going to have to happen. You can't shut the economy down forever, okay? You can't shut it down for 12 months. There will be nothing left by the time we get back out there. So, I'm afraid, this is just my opinion. You can disagree all you want, and that's fine. It's my opinion, eventually we're going to have to open things back up, and we're just going to have to go back out there. And again, if you're a healthy adult under 45, you're going to be fine. You're going to get it, and it's going to suck, and you're going to get through it, and your chances of dying, greater chance of dying in a car wreck. Like, to be serious about it. They have had, I guess, one fatality of a child under 10. One. Okay, so again, good numbers. Our kids seem to be safe, and of course, that's the most important. If it gets me, fine. Leave my daughters alone. We're good. So that is just kind of the update on Corona from where I sit, just as another adult, another person who, of course, is trying to figure out what's going on in the world, trying to maybe find some silver linings in this. And I understand there's not many. Let's find some silver linings. Let's do it right now. Okay. Silver linings for the Rona. I'm working on it here. Now, like, there are good things happening. The newfound respect for doctors and nurses is number one. Like, the people on the front line in the medical field, y'all the real MVPs, and we as a society owe you so much when this is over. Like, to the point, if someone walks into a bar in scrubs, I'm gonna probably have to buy them a drink, and it seems justified. It seems the right thing to do. Nextly, again, I say it's newfound respect. Like, I have never lost respect. I know the importance only because I had a family member in the field. But truck drivers, man, the truck drivers are keeping this country going right now. They are hauling it to store, manufacturer, distributor, store, keeping our shelves stocked. Because remember, 4 weeks ago, when the lockdown started, you remember how bare those supermarkets were? It was bad. Well, I was just at a supermarket a few days ago, and it's okay. The shelves are stocked. I got everything I needed to get. And, there was even toilet paper there. I kid you not, there was toilet paper. So Doctors and nurses, our medical field on the front line, y'all the MVPs. Truck drivers, you are keeping this country moving. And then there's the people in the stores. If you are a cashier or a bagger at Hen House, Price Chopper, Hy-Vee, Trader Joe's, wherever you might be, y'all are taking your health in your hands every day just so that I can have my groceries. And that's huge. That's seriously huge. So I applaud all of you, tip of the cap to all the people who are really keeping us going while the rest of us are in lockdown. And so those right there are silver linings, man. The newfound respect and importance that a lot of people are going to see in those fields is huge. There are other things going on. Okay, so if you know me, you know that like my favorite show ever is The Office. I love The Office. I've been through the series probably 10 times now. Whenever I need background noise, I just turn it on. It doesn't matter what episode it is. I know exactly what's going on and where they're going with it. So one of the main stars, John Krasinski, has started a thing called SGN. And it's a podcast much like this, except it's 10, 15 minutes long, if that. But it's called Some Good News. And he's getting celebrities to come on it. And he's just reporting the good news that's coming out during this time. His first episode, he had a girl who came home who survived cancer. And you know, he had her on the show. And he's funny because he's a very funny guy, if you've seen the show. He's a charming guy. Hey, ladies, he is not hard on the eyes. I will say that right now. Watching me, little rugged. Watching him, much easier. But like he's come out with this, just trying to spread a little laughter, a little joy, a little something into the world while we're all on lockdown. He's on lockdown. Like he's at home doing this. And his famous Hollywood actress wife, I think, has popped up on a few episodes. And one of his kids, I think, films it. I mean, it's funny. So look up SGN, Some Good News with John Krasinski. That is great. Something personally that I'm kind of enjoying out of all this, and this is a sick, twisted enjoyment. I am enjoying the fact that we're learning as a society how much we don't need certain things, how much I really don't need the opinions of athletes, and how much I really don't need the opinions of movie stars, and how they've all basically been silenced right now. Like they're not out there having their award shows and doing all their elitist stuff. Hey, they're at home like everyone else. And so that's kind of fun. Now, John Krasinski aside, because he's trying to do something good, I do like that a lot of the talking heads have really been silenced by a lot of this, but that's just my own sick, twisted enjoyment. So anyway, I don't even know when I started recording this. I don't even know how long I've been talking. I have no clock. I have no timer. Maybe this is really long or maybe this is really short. I have no idea where we're at. But hey, I've been doing this podcast for almost 3 years. We're closing down 3 years. So we've never had a time like this. I've never had a time like this. This, of course, podcast was started for people going through divorce. It's like we're all divorced from each other at this point. We can't even go out and see each other. I know I sat here and probably complained a little bit. I might have said some things that pissed you off. I might have said some things you agreed with. I'm cool either way. All right. If you enjoyed it, great. If I made you mad, let me know, because we can talk about these things and we can still be friends on the other side of it, because that's kind of how this is supposed to work. All right. These are my opinions. Take it, leave it. Tell me I'm a moron. I'm good with all that. Like, I'm fine. I'm not going to stop loving you any less. So thank you very much for watching. I will try and get back into the regular groove of doing the episodes. I know like I said, I just wasn't in the place. I didn't have anything to talk about other than bad stuff. And I tried not to only talk about bad stuff tonight, but just give you an update from where I sit in the Midwest here in little old Kansas. And hopefully we can get out the other end of this tunnel sooner rather than later. So please like the episode, please comment. Let's talk. Share it. Share the episode is huge. And then, of course, you can find the website, www.hittingthewallpodcast, all one word, .com, hittingthewallpodcast.com. If you choose to support us financially, it would be great. We don't make much, barely enough to keep the website up. So trust me, I'm not out there booking the cruise off this stuff. But please, if you are looking for a place for your donation dollar, I humbly request that you make it this podcast so that we can expand, so we can get it out to more people. So if you enjoyed it, make a one-time donation. Make it $2. I don't care. Make it a monthly donation of $2. Whatever you feel like doing. anything is appreciated and welcome. So that's it. Like, share, comment, donate if you feel the call. And, hey, hit me up. We'll talk. I got time. Trust me. So I will see you guys on the next episode, whenever that may air. Thank you so much. Thank you to Clover Hill Promotions for all the work that they're going to do. Because if you've made it this far in the video, you would have seen the awesome opening that they put together. They are the MVPs of this show, not me. So anyway, hey, everyone, be safe. Stay home. Don't act a fool. And let's get this over with, okay? So that maybe I can do a live episode from a bar and we'll all be there drinking and celebrating and eating. And man, doesn't Mexican food sound good? Oh, Mexican food sounds so good. Anyway, hey, be safe. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We'll see you next time.